Hello my friends and welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Let's Play series part 194 of this series. So in today's video I'm going over the that is my deck for the event. This is the double summon dual trial event, and once again they call it extreme because apparently it's an extreme rule set. Although I feel like this one and the Nibiru one, like, are the two like that you don't really need to. I mean, I guess in Nibiru you kind of need to restrict yourself a little bit. But this one you need to basically restrict yourself even less so, because most decks do appreciate a double summon. Like, even if they're not really, if they don't really care one way or another, like, most decks still, like, probably would like an extra normal summon. Like, this deck likes it pretty well. Like, so you can play decks that, like, more appreciate it, that, like, more based off of normal summoning a bunch. Like, maybe, gadgets could be good. If you want, like, something that's a little more modern. Although there are modern gadgets out there. Flow and Reese comes to mind, too. Like, because they already use that one card that gives them an extra normal summon already. So basically just being able to have access to that at all times is nice. So this is the first duel here. Unfortunately, because it took too long, it cut out the news, which I don't think is that big of a deal. Like, I think the biggest news was that was basically information about this event, which I do show off later on, and now I'm really glad that I did. I forget the other news, but maybe someone can let me know if there's anything really big that's going to be coming up. Maybe if I remember, I can, like, try to, like, go through some of the news that maybe was missed because of that in the next stream or something. But again, I don't think there's anything too big, because, like, the ban list. Oh yeah, by the way, I think one of the news was about the new season of, like, the so basically everything resets. That might have been one of them, and the other one was that the ban list is out. So Super Heavy Samurai is arguably basically dead. So I'm just switching to live Twin Sprite, which who knows if that's better or not, because that's technically not on the tier list. If you go on to mastermeta.com, that's not on the tier list either. But I like it, and it's kind of fun, like, having the option to be able to, if your opponent has a high enough attack monster on the field, to basically just be able to surprise them with the mosquito guy, the mosquito seed, which I do show off a few times in this video too, which is pretty cool. But, like, it's pretty fun to surprise them with that, and then just inflict a bunch of damage because they had a really high attack position monster. I beat a hero player using that trick. I guess the only unfortunate thing is that, like, you have to like, deal damage to the monster that you put the hallucination counter on. So you can't just negate an annoying thing that doesn't have a lot of attack. Like, if you want to inflict a lot of damage, you basically have to negate the thing that has the highest attack. So that's a little annoying, and you don't get to, and it's not very good for the game because you have to wait until a battle phase in order to be able to do it. But it's still fun for getting some surprise OTKs out, which is its main purpose. Oh yeah, and I did do it with this one, but I had to do an infinite impermanence because, like, battle phase would have been way too late. And I actually didn't lose a single duel in today's video, which was pretty awesome. Oh yeah, by the way, I know I'm getting to this a little late, but if you do enjoy my, I guess, like, other people kind of, like, have in the middle of the video or something like that anyway, so I guess not too late. But anyway, if you are enjoying my content, please like, share, and subscribe, and consider ringing that notification bell for regular content, or you can set for all my content, which I'm not sure if there's really much of a difference because I pretty much have everything into Let's Play, but maybe you can be notified of like some of my more special playlists that like I also happen to have them in. Like this one's also going into the Duel Trial playlist in addition to a Let's Play playlist. But yeah, so like if you just pretty much watch a Let's Plays, it might not matter very much for that, but maybe if you're more into like the special event style videos, maybe it's useful for you for that reason. Yeah, so for here, oh yeah, what's pretty fun about the gamma, which I did figure out, is that like even if it gets negated, as long as it's not like destroyed and sent to the graveyard, its whole negation effect is even once per turn. So I was allowed to activate it again, which is pretty awesome. So now I got the special summon because my opponent decided to activate that effect, which was like special summoning something. So it was kind of partly my opponent's fault that they like lost here, but it was pretty fun. I got the win. One thing I was slightly worried about was that I might not be able to place the hallucination counter on a monster I negated because I had already negated the Mirror Jade. So I wasn't. So I was hoping that I would still be able to place a hallucination count on it. But luckily I was able to. So anyone who was wondering about that, yes, it can. You can place a hallucination count on something that whose effects have already been negated for the turn. So that's pretty nice. It doesn't like so infinite impermanence on a high attack monster doesn't take away from the mosquito later on. So that's really nice. But yeah, I cut out a few things, so if anyone's confused, they can always ask me what happened at this part, and then I can maybe explain it better if I like, if I forget to explain it during the video, which I might because like I need to go over like stuff like the verse, and I might like graze through it by accident. But anyway, speaking of verse, I should probably go over that. So it's, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. That comes from 2 Corinthians 12:9. That is the YouVersion's take on it, but this is a New International Version. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. So, so basically what that is saying to me is that, oh yeah, so Jesus is speaking to someone, but we can just relate it to us by like thinking like that he's speaking to us, because basically says the same thing to us too. Or, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Yeah, basically what Jesus is saying is that, like, my power is made perfect in your weakness. So, that's why I'm able to take just ordinary people, like, that have a lot of weaknesses. That's who he pretty much prefers anyway. And he especially likes the people who already know that they're weak. So that so that they know, like, his power will be exemplified in that. So that's pretty cool. So, if anyone like has any stories about how they were able to use their weakness to exemplify God's power and be able to use that to, I almost ran out of time here, to be able to like carry something out even better for the grace of God, like you can let me know. I'm not sure if I really have an example. Oh yeah, another thing that's cool about the mosquito is that I don't actually have to attack into the monster who had the hallucination counter, I can basically attack into whatever I want, and it'll inflict the damage before the battle, which can actually be pretty big, especially since you are still taking damage from a lot of those monsters. And it's a little scary with the OTK because you still end up losing a lot of your monsters, so basically only do it when you know you're gonna win. It does kind of suck though if your opponent has a surprise way of being able putting off the OTK, because then you lost a bunch of monsters and your opponent's still not dead. Yeah, I don't think I was able to get the OTK with my opponent either way. That's like the spell negation was kind of annoying, but as you see, it really didn't really affect me all that much. So I was thinking it's probably not going to affect me all that much, so I'm just going to negate the other thing that you see coming out, which is probably going to affect me a bit more, this monster negate sunflower thing. I just wanted to get rid of that. Oh yeah, another thing, nice thing about the gigantic sprite is it kind of makes it a little bit awkward for Neutroia opponents, because they like to be bringing out monsters during my turn, and so like if I did since I did the gigantic sprite like there before they did the mole cricket, now like they can't really bring out much, but I just negated it anyway because I was thinking I don't want to know what they're gonna bring out here. I decided I'm just gonna let the Call by the Grave go, because they're only banishing the monster that I was going to special summon, which is that Frost. So I also lose the access to drawing a card, but that's okay. But yeah, I'm not sure. I guess I'm not sure one example of like how I can use my weakness. I don't know, but maybe I should like I don't know. I may have to get back to you guys on that, because I don't really have a very good example right now. So maybe someone can start up that instead. But hopefully I did a good job in explaining the verse. Yeah. Maybe I'm just not one that really likes to show off my weakness a ton. So I don't really think about that too much, but maybe I should. But anyway, I guess I still have time to work on it, like, because I'm not super old or anything, so that's good. Yeah, I was kind of worried, like, would I be able to get the pixies? Is it not activated for some reason? But then I didn't realize that, like, I had to wait until the very start of the very damage calculation, very specific step in order to activate it. Oh yeah, and then here my opponent decided to special summon that monster. I think they special summon it, or maybe they non summon it. It doesn't matter either way. Apparently they special summon it, and I tried activating the spell like that, like gave my monster additional stats, but I didn't realize that the level 5 guy that prevented spells or traps didn't actually have the effect on, because that was an Intoria monster that they tributed for it. So I didn't even have to worry about that, and then I just negated the whole spell thing because that was only cards. I was like, yeah, like of course I'm gonna negate it. But yeah, I'm going into the last one here, and then in the first duel I showed off like how the double summon thing was set up. So a cool thing about the double summon thing being in the middle like that is that means that you don't actually control any cards. So the infinite impermanence will still work in your hand, which is really nice. Unlike the skill drain thing, which does count as a card that you control. So that kind of messes up a few things. But because another good thing about like you not actually controlling the double summon is that Lightning Storm isn't as messed up as with the whole skill drain event also, which was kind of interesting about the skill drain event too. It kind of made some cards a little weaker, just like having a skill drain on the field, simply having a con on the field. Yeah. Yeah, that event was pretty fun. The skill drain event. If anyone else had any fun with that, did you use a cheese deck like a way to just destroy it, and then like just like use one of your normal decks, or did you actually try to follow it by using a deck that like could work under skill drain? But yeah, and then also here, like, did you? I'm not sure if like this is necessarily following the event or not, the pride of the event or not. So maybe someone can let me know if they use an event, a deck, and want to maybe show it off, that like a deck that was more in line with like how the double summon festival should have been played. Although I think this was a little bit more loose on like what decks really follow it, because really any deck again benefits off of a extra null summon. So yeah, I basically just use a monster and a few of mine to bring out the Underworld Goddess here, and they try to evenly match, but I negated that, and they lost. And that was, I believe, the last duel there. So now I'm gonna go into the Goosebumps now. So now I have the Go Eat Worms. It is so Go Eat Worms, the film adaptation versus the book adaptation, which I thought they were both pretty good. I guess I kind of like that, like they kind of explain why like those the animals kind of wanted revenge on him. I think it was a bit meaner in the book to them, so I think that was actually good, because like it got the message across a little bit better. And of course, like, it's always different actually seeing it in action, which I think like was even better here, since the message was basically be nice to animals or else. Like, of course, you won't have something like that, but I still enjoyed that message, and being able to actually see that was nice. Although he was playing mean enough, like, but I think he really was only rude to the worms once in the book, so not. But like what he did to the butterflies at the end, like, which was a little bit different because it was dealing with fish in the book, like, still being rude. But I think like his experiments would have been even more rude, because like I guess like he put them out of their misery like even quicker in the book. Yeah. But yeah, here I go through the Master Proficiency test. So if you want to take the time, I try to get like put in some extra time, not cut this as much, so that maybe I already give you plenty of time to like get the answer before I do. And someone can let me know if they like were able to get the answers like better than I did with this, like, because some of them were pretty easily, but some of them I didn't realize that first. Like this one, I didn't realize that like the damage was actually because it's inflicted after the summon. You can activate it with like when you only have monsters that are like higher, or like that are like have higher attack than your life points even. Like, I thought that is kind of crazy, but yeah, that's how it works, because of the whole like inflicting after. So you gotta be a little bit careful with that starter if you have really low life points. You gotta like basically be sure, like think about like what your monster's attacks are. I'm not sure if it's the same way with the mutant deck, with that mutant card that also inflicts damage to you, but you might want to be a little bit careful there too. Another thing you want to be careful with is the swap frog, because if you have no frogs left, you can basically just make it so that you have to send the swap frog itself to the graveyard. So you gotta be a little careful with that too, because you technically should always have a target, because your swap frog will probably be on field. But yeah, anyway, the book and film adaptation, yeah. So, I don't know, I thought they were both pretty good in their own right, so I think I'm gonna just give it to both. Like, they were both good in their own right, but but the book, I think, was just like edge it a little bit better, like, because like it just explains stuff a bit more, like explain the whole reason for the title, like, which my sister got confused about when watching the episode. Like, why? I mean, I guess you could think, like, I guess you gotta go with, like, if you only watch the episode, like, the reason why, like, is because the friend almost ate the worms with the spaghetti, or because maybe stuffed the worms in the bird. Like, it was a lot funnier to understand the true reason, though. Like, yeah, but they usually explain stuff better because they don't usually have as much time to do stuff like that. But yeah, I still enjoy them both pretty equally. I like that they still showed off that giant worm. Like, that was probably one of the best parts from the book, and I'm glad they kept it for the TV show version. So if anyone else wants to let me know their thoughts on this Goosebumps here, you can let me know. Oh yeah, there was also the Go Eat Worms new Disney Plus version. I guess I could talk about that a little bit. So if you don't want to hear about that, maybe watch it and then come back. But anyway, I guess I'll talk about that a little bit. So the Go Eat Worms Disney Plus version was, like, of course, well, it was a lot different from these other ones. So it had even less in common. Like, instead of there being like a giant worm, like, he actually literally ate the worms. Like, there was, like, pretty much, I mean, I guess there were technically some literal eating in the book, but like there was actually a purpose behind that. So the title was a lot more literal for the Disney Plus version, which I thought, like, that was a pretty neat take on it. Like, it's probably one of my more favorite episodes of that Disney Plus series, actually, because it still had to do a lot with the worm concept, and it's still, like, the characters still liked the worms, like, maybe caring for them a little bit, but then, like, pretty soon he, like, wanted to, like, oh, I think it was an accident, though. I think I think they, like, they kind of forced it on him. Like, I don't think he did, which makes more sense because I don't see why he would want to, like, on purpose eat live worms. So anyway, when he did, though, like, they, like, helped make him, like, a little bit more impervious to injury, which was kind of neat. But then they, but then when he started thinking, like, they were taking control of him, he, like, I forget how it happened, but then he was able to get them out of him. But then they turned into, like, a giant, like they were all coming together, which kind of, and turned to some kind of giant monster, which I guess kind of fits with the whole giant worm thing. But so I guess, like, they kind of did, like, a little bit nod to the giant worm thing too, but maybe in a way that makes a bit more sense, although that was still kind of science fiction sort of stuff as well, but I guess a little bit more believable. But anyway, yeah, so kind of reminds me of, like, other, like, forms of media that kind of has, like, stuff coming together to form into a giant monster. Like, I know, like, that's a pretty common trope, I think. Like, Adventure Time did that for, like, an episode or maybe a few, and then a few other shows and maybe movies did that too. But anyway, there's the. I hope you also enjoyed the take on the Disney Plus version. But since it was, I think they did it in a cooler way. So you know what? I think the book was still nice for, like, explaining stuff, but I did like the Disney Plus. I think that would be my second favorite out of the three. I kind of like the new take, and also kind of having the nod to the giant worm now that I think about it. So anyway, if anyone has maybe a different favorite, you can explain why, or if, like, the Disney Plus is also your new favorite, like, and I'm glad they did that because, like, a few of them, to be honest, like, I kind of wish they would have, like, had better nods to the actual media, or the actual book, but I'm glad the Go Eat Worms was good at least. Anyway, bye everyone. I hope you enjoyed. I look forward to explaining whatever the next event.